So the sixth question in Leet code is the zigzag conversion. So basically we'll be given a string here. Okay, let's say that it's a PayPal is hiring. Okay, and we'll have to write it in a zigzag format first. Okay, and once we write it in a zigzag format, and then we'll have to the output should be like we'll be have to read it like this. Like once it is in a zigzag format, we'll have to read this and this and concatenate it and send it back as the result. Okay, so just to show, like if we have something like this, right, one array of string, and we are told to split it into three rows, okay, like in a zigzag format. So we'll 1 2 3, and we'll have to, like, number of three is done, right? So we'll have to go here 4 and 5. Again we are at the top, we'll have to go to the next 6 7, and similarly 8 9, like in this way. Like we need to consider the number of rows, and we'll have to put it in a zigzag format. Okay, and when we are reading the final output, it should be like this. We should be returning 1 5 first, and then 2 4 6, and then 3 7. Okay, so now coming back to the implementation, right? So let's say that we can check this to simplify this, right? What we can do, enhance the performance also, we can check that if the rows count is, if it is just one, right? Let's say that we are given this PayPal is a string. Okay, PayPal is hiring, and let's say that number of rows is just one. So how will we do it? It will be like again, there is no zigzag format, right? Like for if it is a row is one, everything will be kept in a one single row, right? So that we can just return whatever the input is given, we'll be returning the same. Okay, that is one condition. And also let's say that there is a string called pay. Okay, pay, and our number of rows is 3. Okay, what we'll do, we'll place p here, a here, y here, and that's it, right? we won't be we won't be doing anything else. We don't, there is no zigzag thing again. We can return whatever, like if it is a less than, right? Even like currently we have said that pay. Let's say there is a string only pa, right? We will be returning whatever the string is been given. So that's what we are trying to do here to reduce this unnecessary extra work, right? We'll be checking that condition, and we'll be returning the same input back to back. Okay, so now how to approach this remaining combinations, right? So basically what we are doing here, we need to make three rows here basically, right? We'll have to make a three rows here, and if we are able to make it, and at the end what we can do is we can just concatenate those strings and return back, right? Now what is the logic to make this correct? How to build this exact format? So let's say that, let's assume that we have three rows already and three strings, maybe three strings we have. Okay, and we'll store it in a list. Okay, so we have these things. Okay, now what is the thing, when we do manually, what we'll do, like let's say that I will pay p, and then we will go to a, and then we'll go to y, right? Once I reach to the maximum number of rows, what I will do, I will have to reduce, like I mean I need to go to the second string and update it, and then the first string, and once I go to the minimum, again I will have to increment it, right? This is the same thing we are doing. So what we are doing, trying to do is, we will say that we'll initialize the three rows based on the like number of rows we need, right? Here we need three, we'll be initializing the three list, and which consisting of empty strings, correct? Okay, which will be having the empty strings. So now what we'll do is, so we'll be starting, like initially we'll start with the index as 0, and our will be positive, right? We'll be incrementing the index. So let's say that we have an array of strings, right? So I need to update the first strings, or I want to update the second string, or I want to update the third string, right? So we'll be starting with the 0, and our addition, our for the first thing would be like we will be incrementing here. We'll be starting from here, index will be 0, and we'll be incrementing like from p to a. So that's why step will be positive here. Basically we'll be adding, we'll be deciding whether to increase the index or decrease the index, right? That will be a positive value, +1, we can say it as a +1. Okay, and let's say if the zigzag format is something different, so that like if you want to put, if you are placing our if you are placing the format in this way, right? So in this direction, in that case, like our step would have been -1. As we are now keeping from top to bottom, it will be plus. Okay, so now as we enter, like now let's pass through the string, and we'll split the string into the multiple rows now. Okay, so we'll go to the first character. Now we'll set it in the first row. Okay, index as 0, and now we'll see if it is index is 0, we'll have to make the step as positive, meaning we'll have to come down, right? +1, like we'll have to go to the second row. So that's what we are doing here. And let's say that we are at the end y, when we reached y, right? So we'll have to decrease the step, That's what we are doing here. Index is equal to plus minus 1. Let's take it this later. Okay, now let's check the character p. Okay, for character p we have added it in the first row string. Okay, and then as index is 0, we'll set it to the positive one. It's already set, but we'll need it in the for example, let's say that we are setting it again. Okay, and then we will be will be incrementing the step here, like based on the what is positive or negative. Okay, so we'll coming to this, and we'll be adding the a to the second row. Okay, and similarly again we'll increment it, and then we'll come to here. Okay, and once that is done, and once we enter this, we'll check here if the index we have reached the last row, like last row here. If in that in the case, we should start decreasing the row count here, meaning we'll be decreasing the steps, so that in the next step we'll be updating the second row. Like we updated the first row, second row, third row, it is the time to go back to the second row. We'll be decrementing the step here, so that it will pick the second string here in this list, right? It will pick the second string. And yeah, that is it actually. So that's how we'll be splitting it, and at the end we'll be able to join it and send back the result. So the result was this. Yeah. Okay, thank you.